The gym clothes, the PE clothes. And actually, the long-term aim for the education ministry is to get rid of the form-fitting official uniforms, the blazer, the trousers, and skirt sets, which have been criticized once again as not only being expensive, but extremely uncomfortable. And I have to say, I would feel really bad, especially for my daughters when they were going through school, because depends on the school. Some schools had rules like you can't wear leggings underneath your skirt, or you couldn't. You can only wear the really thin sheer pantyhose, the hosiery. You couldn't wear the thick. They had rules, right? Every winter, it's freezing, and you're wearing those short skirts. So anyhow, people had issues. So the education vice minister said that the ultimate goal is to make uniforms completely free, although she said it's hard to say for certain exactly when. And the ministry is looking to diversify suppliers, including small businesses and cooperatives. So the authorities are also running a concentrated reporting period until the end of the month against price fixing and collusion. So a lot of parents can probably commiserate with the price of uniforms, but hopefully this will be a sign that things will get more affordable and hopefully more comfortable too. I'm hoping for students that they can, study in comfort. Anyhow, it is time for a tech topic. By the way, our YouTube live feed is up and running, so we apologize for any inconvenience because there was a little issue there. Technical issue. We're good now. All right. So send in your responses to this text topic. Are you ready? What was your school's dress code? Whether middle school, high school, did you have a dress code? 자, 나 때, we're going to go there. 나 때 학교 복장 머리 화장 규정은 나 때는요. I wish I had the uniform. I sincerely mean it. 진심입니다. 저는 when I look at like my kids who went through the Korean school system and they wore the uniforms, and I know my girls complained that it was really, really uncomfortable because the skirts were so slim fitting and the jackets were so form fitting as well, real slim fit. But I kind of at least just for one day, I wish I had the opportunity to wear a school uniform because I never did. I went to public school in California. We wore whatever we wanted. Were there rules? Oh, you couldn't wear T-shirts with bad words. 그 나쁜 욕설 같은 티셔츠는 금지. 빼고는 별로 없었어요. You could color your hair whatever you wanted. You could, as long as you didn't wear a swastika or some sort of emblem, anything like that, it was okay. So our producer says, 라떼는 치마가 2개였어요. Oh, why? Is it the whole idea of one is for the rules, the regulation, and the other is your real skirt? I have daughters. I know what you're talking about, PD님. My daughters insisted, the 주름 있잖아요. 주름을 자꾸 뭘 박아달래요. I was like, 뭘 박아야 돼? And they're like, can you stitch up the pleats? And I said, why? And then they said, because it makes it look better. And then I noticed every year that the skirt got a little short. 1학년 때는 조금 무릎까지 오더니 점점 살짝 올라가더라고요. And they try to pretend that they had a growth spurt. They did not. 키가 자라서가 아니라 조금 줄인 것 같아요. 엄마 몰래. Anyhow, send in your responses. BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. And tell me about your school's dress code. Also, from your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 101. You can also reach me for free on Kakao Talk. Same thing there. You got to find us first. BEFM, 부산 영어 방송. Enter that. Add us as a friend, and then you can send in your messages. The ways you can tune into Morning Wave in Busan on the radio here in Busan, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. And we have the stream up and running. We are live on YouTube right now as we speak, and we are available on the BEFM app, Papang app as well. Looking ahead to what day is it? It's Monday. Okay, so Monday, we have the Daily Corners, 난 Busan with Tian, Haley with top stories in hour number 1, 와글와글 tea time in hour number 2. Vasana is coming in for profile check. Sue for news in depth. Our special interview today, the biggest story right now. You've probably heard already, but if you haven't been near the news, the U.S.-Israel strikes on Iran. And of course, Iran strikes on other Middle Eastern countries as well. We're going to find out about this huge bit of news that's coming up with our expert in hour number 2. I'll be back with news overview. It's now 7:09. This is News Overview. National Assembly passed a special bill on Jeonnam-Gwangju merger. The Democratic Party DP-led National Assembly passed the special legislation that paves the way for administrative merger between Jeonnam Province and Gwangju Metropolitan City. President starts Southeast Asia tour in Singapore. President Lee Jae-myung has arrived in Singapore for a two-nation swing that also includes a visit to the Philippines to discuss ways to expand cooperation with the Southeast Asian nations. Government on high alert mode over Iran crisis. President Lee Jae-myung ordered for an emergency response system led by the Prime Minister to respond to any problems rising from the crisis in the Middle East in the wake of a U.S.-Israel military operation in Iran. He urges North Korea to resume dialogue. President Lee Jae-myung in his March 1st Independence Movement commemoration speech urged North Korea to return to the negotiating table with the United States and join efforts to shape what he called a new future. Death toll rises in Middle East as Trump says things moving along rapidly. U.S. President Donald Trump says operations in Iran are ahead of schedule and that they will continue until all objectives are achieved as casualties have been mounting, with U.S. and Israeli forces trading strikes with Iran for the second day. This was News Overview. It's time for Now in Busan. We have Jian in the studio. Let's say hi first. Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Oh, look at us. We're twinning.
I know.
Are we leaving Haley out of the loop now? It's you and I now. All right. So I hope you had a lovely weekend. Mm-hmm. And our text topic, what was your school's dress code?
Oh, I can talk about this forever.
So let's hear it. What was it like?
Of course, the length of the skirt. And the hairstyle, and no makeup at all. Uh-huh. And students were like, "Oh, 선생님, this is just 선크림이에요."
It's always like just sun cream.
It's just sunblock.
Right.
No BB or anything else.
That actually, you're so young, but that kind of shows your age as well. Because nowadays they allow makeup.
Oh yes, and even
public schools.
Like the hair dye.
The hair dye. Mm-hmm. They don't.
Dye.
Yeah, they've relaxed the rules quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Except, like I said, I was complaining about my daughter's uniforms. Mm-hmm. 너무 불편하고.
Right.
The jacket,
so
the blouse,
and the jacket so tight
and short, and like. And I was like, how do you study? And
right.
They're like, I don't know. But maybe is it to keep you awake? I don't know.
To sit straight
and like awake. Anyhow, thanks for sharing. We're going to jump into some local news. Mm-hmm. We've been reporting on the rising tensions in the Middle East, obviously.
Yes.
And given Busan's strong maritime industry, this could have local implications as well. Mm-hmm. What kind of impact are we expecting in Busan?
Indeed. To protect Korean vessels, the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries has advised with domestic shipping companies operating near the Strait of Hormuz to refrain from sailing in the area as tensions in Middle Eastern waters sharply increased following U.S. and Israeli airstrikes on Iran. Acting Minister Kim Sung-bum convened an emergency inspection meeting yesterday on the 1st to review the safety management status of Korean vessels in response to the strikes.
Right. So what exactly is raising concerns about a possible closure of the Strait of Hormuz?
After the attacks on the 28th local time reportedly led to the death of the Iran's supreme leader,
right,
concerns have grown over a possible closure of the Strait of Hormuz. A total of 37 Korean-flagged vessels were operating in nearby waters, including the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, and the Gulf of Oman. In addition, vessels navigating near the strait have been receiving very high-frequency or VHF radio warning broadcasts believed to have been issued by Iranian authorities, alerting them to a potential blockade.
Right, so there's been no official closure of the Strait of Hormuz so far, correct?
That's correct. Although no official closure has been declared, the ministry sent formal notices to ships and shipping companies recommending that they suspend navigation in and around the strait as a precautionary measure.
Right.
Officials explained that the situation is evolving rapidly, that the government decided to take preemptive action while maintaining a 24-hour monitoring system.
I see. Thanks for letting us know. This is, of course, very important. Next, we have an update on Kumjungsan's National Park designation. The official designation is like right around the corner, right?
Yes, it is. Finally, Kumjungsan Mountain will be officially designated as the nation's 24th national park tomorrow on March 3rd, becoming the country's first urban-type national park located in the heart of a large metropolitan area. With the designation, the Natural Parks Act will take effect immediately, bringing noticeable changes to visitor culture and park management.
Right. So maybe you could walk our waivers through the key changes.
Of course. One of the most significant changes is the prohibition of cooking and camping outside designated areas to prevent wildfires and environmental damage. Smoking will also be restricted, and drinking alcohol will only be permitted in areas. Littering, wildlife capture, and commercial activities will also be prohibited. In addition, bringing pets into the park will, in principle, be banned to protect wildlife and ensure visitor safety.
I see. Will visitors see the changes right away?
Yes, and more gradual changes will follow. Kumjungsan currently has more than 200 hiking trails stretching roughly 300 kilometers, many of which form naturally over time due to its proximity to residential areas. The park authority plans to analyze visitor patterns and environmental impact before gradually reorganizing and improving the trail system.
I see. So once again, that is coming up tomorrow. Next up, Busan is expanding its global partnerships for sustainable urban development. What kind of agreement was signed?
Busan City has signed a memorandum of understanding with France's Entrepreneurship, Territory and Innovation Chair, known as Chair ETI, to strengthen cooperation on sustainable urban development under the 15-minute city framework. The agreement ceremony was held locally in France on the 27th with officials from Busan City, the Secretary General of Paris Sorbonne Business School, the chair of its foundation, and the General Director of the Research Institute in attendance.
Right, and as a reminder, what does the 15-minute city concept, what does it entail?
The 15-minute city concept, or the model, aims to ensure that residents can access essential urban services within 15 minutes on foot or by public transportation. It focuses on proximity, sustainability, and improving overall quality of life by reducing car dependency and strengthening local communities.
Right, because all that access is really important. What can we expect from this partnership agreement?
Under this new partnership, Busan City and the Institute agreed to reinforce cooperative systems to realize a sustainable city and enhance citizen well-being. In particular, the two sides plan to co-host an international conference in Busan in the second half of this year to promote the development of 15-minute city policies across Asia and strengthen international cooperation.
Sounds good. Thanks for letting us know about this one. And our final topic today is all about festivals as spring approaches. Busan is aiming to position festivals as a key growth industry. What's the city's broader vision on this?
Busan City's Festival Organizing Committee has announced a plan to foster festivals as a strategic industry for urban growth and transform Busan into a global festival city where celebrations continue throughout all 4 seasons.
Right.
This year marks the inaugural year of Busan's leap toward becoming a global festival city with a more systemic year-round festival operation strategy to strengthen the city's brand competitiveness.
So how will the festival calendar unfold throughout the year?
The annual lineup begins in May with the Busan Wheat Festival at Hwamyeong Eco Park.
Okay.
In August, the Busan Sea Festival will take place at Daepo Beach. October will feature the Busan International Rock Festival at Samlak Eco Park and the nation's first urban-style cycling festival, the Seven Bridges Tour. In November, the Busan Fireworks Festival will illuminate the skies over Gwanghwamun, Haeundae, and Ikide.
It's so weird to hear about the fireworks festival. I feel like we just had it.
Right.
It's in November. Okay, so where can we find more detailed information about the festival schedule?
Detailed schedules and specific programs for each festival type will be announced on the official website of the Busan Festival Organizing Committee.
I see. Well, thank you for all the local information. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Jin.
Thank you.
All right, I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. Guess what? The roads are clear, open across the city as this is once again a substitute holiday for the March 1st Independence Movement Day. Currently, it is 8 degrees here in Busan under cloudy skies with a light drizzle in some parts of the city. The real field temperature is much colder on account of there being a strong wind special weather report in effect. The daytime high is going to go up to just 11 degrees today. Across the nation, rain or snow, depending on where you are. Heavy snow advisories across Gangwon, with strong wind advisories across the southern coast and Jeju. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for Top Stories. We have Haley in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, it's been a busy, dizzying weekend of news, right?
Whiplash from everything that's been happening.
Before we get into the big story, real quick though, we do want to talk about uniforms because that's a major issue here in Korea as well.
Indeed. So I too was raised in the States. We had some rules like no chains. Which, right? Because that's a gang/violence, could be a weapons thing. And in my very Korean mind, I was like, not even the cute little chain belts? Like, that's a fashion. Again, I was like, what, like, why? Like, they're so cute. It's a fashion statement. Also, the fingertip rule. For skirt length. So you stand up, you put your arms down, and wherever the fingertip touches, your skirt cannot be any shorter than that.
Oh,
yeah, and I have real short arms. So I was like, well.
Oh, I remember one thing also. In California, because it was a thing, the saggy pants thing, you couldn't show your underwear.
Yeah, the no Justin Bieber rule.
Right. Like you could sag as much as you want, but you could not show your underwear.
Right.
남자들.
Right. So for the girls, it was the skirts. For the guys, it was the other way around. Yeah.
The other way. We're going to jump into this huge story still unfolding, the U.S. attack on Iran.
Right. So the U.S. and Israel together launched an attack on Iran, killing Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. So again, this was a whiplash of a weekend in terms of events. So let's walk through them. So we start all the way back on Friday, which seems like forever ago in terms of things that have unfolded. Because on Friday, diplomacy was still very much on the table.
Right.
This is when talks between or amongst the U.S. and Iran, mediated by Oman, took place in Geneva, Switzerland, ended without results, but Iran had at least on Friday offered to blend down its enriched uranium.
Okay.
But the U.S. wanted it out of the country altogether. So at that point, again, we're on Friday, U.S. President Donald Trump said he wasn't thrilled with how the talks were going. At this point, regarding military action, Trump said, quote, nobody knows.
And then things took a quick turn.
But it seems that he knew because Saturday morning, the United States and Israel struck Iran with explosions seen and heard around the capital Tehran, along with several other cities throughout the country.
Right.
So there were airstrikes with hundreds of fighter jets across about 500 military targets. And this is according to the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF. And this has been named by the U.S. as Operation Epic Fury, by Israel, Operation Roaring Lion. So about 15 hours into the strikes, President Trump wrote on his social media, quote, Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead, unquote. So President Trump added that this was the single greatest chance for the Iranian people to take back their country, a point that he's just reiterated just minutes ago. And Iranian state media confirmed several hours later his death.
I see.
So the office of President Masoud Pezeshkian in the capital was also reportedly struck. However, he is safe, and he has later put out a statement. A spokesperson for the Iranian Red Crescent, equivalents of the Red Cross, told local media that 31 provinces in Iran have been hit, a total of 201. At least that was when the death toll came out. 201 killed. But according to the Iranian-controlled state media, there was a strike on a girls' school, and now the casualty from their civilians' children, that's at about 150.
I see. Well, we need to know, how has Iran responded?
Right. So the retaliation operation has been strong. Iran has launched missiles and drones towards Israel and other Gulf states, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, and the UAE. And all of these nations have one thing in common. They have U.S. military bases.
Right.
But a lot of the targets were not only the U.S. military bases, but on civilian targets as well. Airports in the UAE and Dubai, which are regional hub or international hub airports, they have seen casualties as missiles and drone debris that were intercepted still fell on the infrastructure. A drone exploded near a high-end hotel in Dubai, starting a fire there. And also one exploded a high-rise residential tower in Bahrain. So Iran's foreign minister accused Israel and the U.S. of launching a war that was wholly unprovoked, illegal, and illegitimate, with the defense minister vowing a crushing and regret-inducing response.
Right. So now we're on day 2 of the strikes.
Right. So in terms of the latest updates, the conflict will continue, and this could be even war, although U.S. Congress has the right to declare war.
Yes.
But President Trump said on Sunday local time that the U.S. would hit Iran with a force that has never been seen before if Tehran continues to retaliate. And he again called on the Iranian people to take back their country.
Yes.
The IDF has struck the heart of Tehran again. Iranian retaliation has targeted Israel as well as civilian infrastructure and U.S. military bases across Arab Gulf states.
That's right. And I know that once again, if you're just joining us right now, we're going to have an expert on in hour number 2. However, we want to know about the Supreme Leader because he... for those of you, Haley's going to explain. Let's talk about who he was and what this actually means.
Right, because just in terms of attacks,
right,
one happened last year, right?
Yes.
Operation Midnight Hammer, sure. But then what was incredibly shocking is that Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei is dead. So Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was the 86-year-old Supreme Leader that has ruled the country for the last 3 decades.
Right.
So Iran, in the country, the position of the Supreme Leader far outranks the president.
Right.
And the country has only had 2 Supreme Leaders since the 1979 Islamic Revolution that got rid of its, king, we call him the Shah, the monarch. So just to give you an idea in terms of numbers, just under Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, there have been 7 different presidents. So the Supreme Leader has the ability to veto any matter of public policy. He can also handpick candidates for certain public offices. And it is his photograph that's hung in basically almost every store in Iran.
Right.
So Ali Khamenei comes from a poor but pious childhood, meaning religious. He was known for his speech-giving skills as a critic of the Shah. That led him to getting arrested 6 times by the secret police.
Oh.
He was tortured. He either lived underground in hiding or was jailed pretty much throughout the Shah's reign. So he was in the previous Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini's inner circles, and he played a major role in the Islamic Revolution.
Right. So what kind of a leader was Khamenei?
Right. So we may think of a supreme leader of a theocracy as a very much, pious, religious figure. However, interestingly, Khamenei was a wartime leader. He was on the front lines during Iraq's invasion of Iran in 1980.
Right.
And experts say that this experience likely solidified his deep anti-U.S. and anti-West thought process.
Okay.
Because it was the West and the U.S. that backed then Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein's invasion. Also, the following year, 1981, he survived an assassination attempt that left his right arm permanently damaged.
Okay.
Interestingly, Khamenei was seen as lacking in religious scholarship when he was selected as the religious supreme leader.
Okay.
But of course, over the last 3 decades, he has slowly but surely built up his power and networks, maintaining a very firm grip on Iran's politics and the armed forces, and of course, sometimes violently suppressing any protests against the regime. So with this powerful leader having been taken out, will this fundamentally change the regime, or is it just going to continue?
Oh, that's the major question. Well, we do want to know also, what kind of impact does this have on South Korea?
Right. So Prime Minister Kim Min-seok, as you said, has convened an urgent meeting under President Lee Jae-myung's orders while Lee is away in Southeast Asia. So Kim ordered for the government to allocate all efforts and resources to protecting South Koreans in the Middle East and also respond to any possible economic ramifications.
I see.
And this is concerning because multiple corporations do have work sites or branches in the Mideast across electronics, constructions, and defense industry. So major companies, including Samsung Electronics, LG Electronics, Hanwha, they've all been continuing with working with their networks to make sure their employees are safe.
Yes.
And President Lee Jae-myung wrote on social media that all senior aides are on emergency alert mode, preparing for any and all possibilities, and reassure that the public does not have to worry.
All right. Thanks for giving us the details of what went down and what continues to happen. We're going to move on to some domestic news for now. President Lee Jae-myung made a symbolic move in his war against housing prices by selling his own home.
Or at least it's out on the market to be sold. So President Lee Jae-myung has declared an all-out war against exorbitantly high home prices and multiple homeowners.
Yes.
So to that end, on a late-night post on Thursday, Lee said that he will create an environment where even single homeowners who own these homes for investment or speculation purposes would feel that they're better off selling them. So to that end, the following day, President Lee put up his apartment in Bundang district that he co-owns with his wife on the market at a price that was apparently lower than the market going rate, and that's according to 청와대.
Right. So this is very much a pointed move.
Absolutely. So this seems to be a move to show that he is leading with action as a top policymaker and to earn the trust of the people when it comes to real estate policy. 청와대 further added that it was the president's decision that it be a better investment decision to use that money from the future sale of the home to buy ETFs or essentially put that into the financial market rather than real estate.
Okay.
And this also is a little bit of a political move as it hits back at People Power Party's chair, Jang Dong-hyuk's comments. They've been having a little bit of a back and forth, getting personal at each other's properties. In Jang's case, his even mother's property. Jang previously commented on owning this redevelopment, quote-unquote, sweet spot in the very famous Bundang area and compared that to winning the lottery.
Oh. And then there was a whole situation over how this story was was reported on.
Right, because some media outlets reported that the president would make about 2.5 billion won between when the amount that he bought the home 4 years ago and how much he might be selling it for.
Yes.
So the president took to social media, very directly linking that article with that title and asked, are you trying to paint this as a real estate speculation? So Yi said that the emotional attachment he has to this family home is what made the sale important and difficult.
Okay.
That he never bought the home for money, nor is he selling it for money. That he is trying to do the responsible thing and is setting an example. 청와대 said that they will make another statement after sale of the home is official and complete.
I see. All right. Moving on, after years of back and forth, the government has decided to approve precision data for Google.
Right.
Wow.
So for people who are planning on coming to South Korea to visit, you might be able to use Google Maps after all.
Okay.
After all these years,
Okay.
right? So the Land Ministry has decided to allow for Google to transfer government-supplied high-precision map data of South Korea to its overseas facilities. Okay, so what does that mean?
Yes.
Basically, let Google Maps function normally as other domestic map applications do, including providing driving and navigation instructions.
Okay.
Because for years, Google has requested the transfer and use of this precision data, but South Korea has been against it because we are, again, technically at war.
Yes.
Under South Korean rules, companies are required to store detailed map data on servers that are located domestically.
So, big question. Why the change? Because they were pretty adamant against this.
For
saying
decades.
Security issues.
Right.
And then now?
Well, the trade deal with the Trump administration. So South Korea, as you said, they've rejected Google's request officially 2007 and 2016.
Right.
But the U.S. government actually cited these map restrictions as a non-tariff trade barrier during the negotiations. Also, Google's requests have changed a bit too. Because this time around, Google expressed its willingness to accept South Korea's security requirements by removing coordinate data for South Korea, its region from the maps, and blurring sensitive facilities, so military facilities. So Google still won't be allowed to transfer militarily sensitive data to the overseas server.
Sure.
Also, the raw data will be processed via a domestic server that Google has a partnership with.
Okay.
And that's important because if there are problems, the situation will be dealt with under domestic law and jurisdiction.
Interesting. But thank you for this update plus all the stories, and we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, we have a song request from Benny, so here it is. This is 유리 구슬 by 여자친구.
널 쉽게 깨지진 않을 거야 사랑해 너만은 변하지 않도록 영원히 널 비춰줄게 달콤한 말도 필요 없어요 내 같은 꿈에 행복해요 진리나 아름다운 미소를 모두 담아둘게요 깨지지 않도록 지켜줘 때까지 날 소중해 그 누구보다도 널 사랑해 느끼지 않는 기적이 찾아온 거야 사랑해 너만은 변하지 않도록 영원히 널 비춰줄게 영원히 널 비춰줄게 뷰리 구슬처럼 보이지만 그렇게 쉽게 깨지진 않을 거야 사랑해 너만은 변하지 않도록 영원히 널 비춰줄게
It's time for Profile Check. Guess who's here? Vasana's here.
One does not need to guess.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You made me think about it. I had a busy weekend.
Oh, what did you do?
I had a gig on Saturday night.
Oh.
One of the beer companies had their 10th birthday, so
Ooh.
the band was hired. A band was hired, and I was in the
Yes.
band.
Ooh, so you're busy.
Yes, my fingers hurt. I haven't played for a few months.
Oh,
so
really?
Playing for a couple of hours.
You're doing keyboard, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And a bit of backup singing.
Oh. Must you?
Just
I'm
doing
just kidding.
ooh, ah, ooh, la, la, la,
Oh,
ooh, ah,
okay.
ooh.
that kind. I have a
Shibbity wop,
question.
wop, wop, wop. Yes.
Back in the day,
Back
did
in
you
the
wear
day.
school uniforms? Because that's our text topic today. What was your school's dress code? So whether it was uniforms or if you didn't have a uniform dress code, but maybe there were certain rules, like in my school, they said the sagging pants,
Yeah.
you could wear whatever, but you cannot show your underwear. Was one of the clauses.
Okay, I thought that would go without saying, but anyway.
No. They literally had to put it in because, kids were getting creative.
Okay.
Right. So were there any rules when you were in school?
Yes. I went to an all-boys high school, which is unusual for New Zealand. Usually it's co-ed.
Yeah.
So I went to a special semi-private school.
Did you wear a uniform?
Yes, we had to wear a uniform.
What was it like? Was it like a jacket and everything?
Yes, we had the full gear, but the big point about our school uniform,
Yes.
was that socks needed to be pulled up all the time and shirts needed to be tucked
in.
And if they weren't, you got detention. And so when I got into my final year of high school, I became a prefect. And so I had to go around checking. And I think
Prefect is like 선두부? Is that what it's called? 순두부? Oh, 손두부. Sorry. Not
순두부?
손두부. You know, the little band thingy, and
so
then
I
you're
had
like
a little
checking the
badge.
uniform.
a
Oh,
little
you're
badge,
special.
yeah.
Okay.
So I gave out more than 20 and got a few suspended for smoking, etc., etc.
Oh.
So yes, it was a really drab uniform, but I'm proud of it. It was grey and black and white
It sounds
stripes.
drab.
Very
Sounds
drab.
very much like Korea.
Yeah.
The colors are usually like navy, like a dark navy color or like a dark gray.
Yep.
And then the jackets. But I have seen some schools that are evolving. For their jacket,
Yeah.
there's one in Hyundai. There's a middle school and a high school. They're linked. They have what in Korea they call the gwajamba, like the varsity jackets. That's part of their uniform. So I was like, that's much more comfortable than the straight fitting.
My son's middle school's like that. When he came home with the uniform, they went shopping a couple weeks ago. I was like, wow.
It's nice, right?
I'd
It's
be proud to
comfortable.
wear that.
I would be too. So, yes. All right, we're going to jump into profile check. What do we have?
Okay, today obviously is a holiday.
Yes.
Or rather, yesterday was the holiday. Today is the
Substitute holiday.
substitute
Yes.
holiday. So commemorating.
Yes.
The March 1st movement of
Yes.
1919. Okay, so I wanted to just do a little bit. So in 1919, Korea obviously had been under Japanese colonial rule for nearly a decade.
Right.
everything was suppressed, from the Korean language, the Korean culture, etc., etc.
Right.
But on March the 1st, in Seoul, 33 leaders, later known as the 33 representatives, I'm not sure what that is in Korean, publicly read a declaration, or the declaration. So what the young people of Korea need to understand, and also some foreigners who haven't heard before,
Yes.
it was not just one day.
Oh, no.
That was the start of the movement on that day.
Right. We commemorated on that day,
Yeah.
but it's not just one day that it happened.
So that was the day that the big day where they signed the declaration. And it carried on until we were given, Korea was given independence after World War II in 1945.
So it was a part of a movement. That's why we call the March 1st Independence Movement Day.
Movement, correct.
And then we have a separate day for independence.
Yes.
Yes.
So that took 26 years. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about 2 or 3 people.
Yes.
3 if we have time, 2 if we don't.
Okay.
So the first one is the senior statesman amongst them, which was Son Byung-hee.
Ooh, so tell us about him.
So he was a religious leader of the Cheongdo-gyo movement. So this church still survives to this day. And I was wondering why, and now I know, because they were part of the initial 33. So this is a 19th century reform movement that emphasized equality,
Yes.
human dignity, and resistance to foreign domination. So those are the 3 things they believed in.
Okay.
And independence should be pursued peacefully was what he thought, with moral courage rather than violence. So he was in his 50s. Whoa, so am I. And considerably older than most of the freedom fighters in that day. He was the son of a concubine, so that means he had a lot of social constraints. He didn't really have a real mother per se in those days, as what they determined.
Okay.
So he joined the national movement of Donghak, which is basically his religion. And when the peasant revolution broke out in 1894, he became one of the revolutionary leaders.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, back to March 1st.
Right.
Mr. Son believed independence required education, moral discipline, peaceful mass participation, basically no fighting, which obviously it was impossible. You needed to do a little bit, but that was what he
Right.
believed, and that's what
In
the
theory,
declaration... In theory.
Right. And so you were looking for the Korean term for the 33 representatives. So in Korean, that would be the 민족 대표 33인 is
Okay.
what we say in Korean, just for clarification. Yes.
Cool. Great. Did you learn this in school?
I didn't go to school here, so I'll be honest. I learned it after I came to Korea.
Did our listeners learn this in school?
Yes, they definitely did. So
Yeah. So he died in 1922, weakened from imprisonment, because after he signed, he was immediately... There were 2 conflicting things here. One said that he was arrested. Another said that he voluntarily gave himself in to the authorities. Whatever, he went to prison.
yes.
So he represents the elder ideological backbone of the movement, not emotional rebellion, but structured moral resistance. So basically
Yes.
a peaceful handover back to Korea.
And the thing is this, I mean, not just the 33 representatives, but anybody who was remotely involved in the resistance and the rebellion and the
Yes.
protesting. I mean, they came from all walks of life, all ages,
Yes.
both genders, and it was just,
Yep.
it was a wide diaspora of people.
Yes, correct. And that's where we're going to the next one, because this guy was over 50.
Yes.
Our second one, 16.
Yes.
So I think most people know who this is, because
Right.
I asked my wife last night, who does she remember? And she only remembered one name,
and it was,
and it was this name.
yes.
So it might hit home to a lot of our younger listeners or parents who are listening, because she was only 16. So we have, I had a few pictures from the internet.
Okay.
So her name was Yu Kwan-sun. Oh,
That's
you know
correct.
it as well.
Yes, yes.
So she was a student at Ihwa Hakdang,
Right.
which was a missionary school that has now become Ihwa Women's University.
That's right.
So if we have a picture...
Yeah, we're going to get it up soon.
Okay. So anyway, so after March the 1st, the declaration, all the schools were shut down. Why? Because the school is a good place to...
Good breeding ground for resistance.
Not just that, it's a good place to gather. So,
absolutely.
So these days, when you want to have voting, you go to a school. When you want to
That's
have a
true.
meeting, goes because it usually has a ground, usually has a big gymnasium. If you do want to spread it into groups, you've got classrooms.
Right.
So lots of things. So a classroom is a good way to gather.
Sure.
So all schools were shut down to prevent that. So Miss Yu returned home. But she did not just relax at home. She had smuggled a copy of the declaration back home with her. And she went from village to village speaking about Som Byung-hee and the declaration. And a few weeks later, she climbed to the top of Mount Maebong, Maebongsan.
Right.
I think the pronunciation okay?
Yes.
And where she lit a fire, literally a fire, as a beacon, signaling to everyone to come together and make a stand. So this is her picture.
Yes.
So this is a picture of when she was arrested. I mean, that is just too young.
I mean, thinking back to what we were doing when we were 16.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
nothing.
Words escape me because she was so brave. So brave.
I got quite emotional writing this, but I think my emotions are all over. I don't need to cry on them. Really.
Right.
But 16 years old, arrested, and she also passed away as well. So she went to Saedaemun prison, but even then, while incarcerated, she declared, even if my fingernails are torn out, my nose and ears are ripped apart, and my legs and arms are crushed, this physical pain does not compare to the pain of losing my nation. So yes, as you can tell, she was tortured. A 16-year-old, that's just... I can't speak anymore about this.
Unspeakable crimes.
Yes, unspeakable crime.
Yes,
so she became a symbol of youth courage, a reminder that this movement wasn't just led by political elites. Most of them were young people, were students. If you think about it, all the different movements in the years started by young people.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So she's just, of course, one person. Who definitely sacrificed. But
one more thing. If you go to Maebongsan, the mountain's still there in Cheonan, don't just hike up the mountain. Go to her memorial and pay your respects.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. We do have time for one more profile.
One more.
Yes.
Okay. I've got Maria.
Oh.
Maria. So she was born in Hwanghae province, which is now located up north.
Yes.
She also studied at Ihwa, but studied in Japan as well, because obviously Japan, Korea. After March 1st, she was arrested and tortured, but unlike Yu Guan-sun, she was released.
Oh, so we're talking about Kim Maria, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Kim Maria.
Okay.
So after she was released, she fled to China and then to the United States, and that's where she raised international awareness. So I want to talk about her because she had left basically the continent and gone to America to raise awareness that this is happening to Korea.
Right.
So she was... so basically that's why I wanted to talk about her.
But the thing is this, it's not just Kim Maria, but of course other figures as well who were forced, some of them, or by choice, they were abroad.
Yeah.
But to spread the word, that was really important in the movement. It wasn't just about here, like on the peninsula, but the fact that so many of the figures were abroad, spreading the word, spreading the news of what was happening. So they played pivotal roles as well.
Yes, correct.
Right. So, actually, we have time for one more.
We do?
Can we squeeze one more in?
Okay.
We want to cover as many people as possible.
Can we have another half hour?
No. You have 1 minute.
Okay, so Han Yong-un, another representative who signed, he was a famous writer. So he wrote a famous collection of poetry called Nim Ui Chimuk.
침묵.
Okay, can you say it again?
Yes. 님의 침묵.
Okay, Silence of My Beloved in English. So it just like Yu Guan-sun's memorial, takes some time in your life to read this poetry.
Yes.
It's very, very beautiful. So his poetry obviously was longing for national freedom, the romantic longing for national freedom. He was under constant surveillance by the Japanese, but he refused to cooperate with them and carried on writing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, of course, the list goes on and on. All the people who participated in the independence movement, the ones we mentioned on air, obviously the multitudes of people who were not mentioned.
Yes.
But of course, thanks to them, we have the Korea that we have today. So thank you so much for highlighting these profiles on this very meaningful day. Thank you, Vasana.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to call it a wrap for hour number 1. So here it is. This is 나의 봄은 by 이수연, and I'll be back at 8.
조금 늦은 저녁길 나를 앞서 걷는 사람들 행복할까 느린 걸음 때문에 내게 늦는 걸까 안 오려는 걸까 난 감아보면 들리는 말 샘내듯 갖고 싶던 다른 내일 또 하루만 미뤄놓은 약속 긴 밤은 나무라듯 잠을 청해 소란스런 사람도 무덤도만 찾은 이별도 알게 될까 나의 꿈이 게을러 겨우 한 뼘자랑 갖고 싶단 욕심 자 쏟아지는 햇살 위로 눈부신 나의 꿈도 피어나게 또 미루다 지쳐버린 날들 오늘은 어제보다 행복하게 자 쏟아지는 햇살 위로 눈부신 나의 꿈도 피어나게 또 미루다 지쳐버린 날들 오늘은
까요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전 기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 3. 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전. 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Brr! It's freezing outside. Let's crank up the heat.
Wait. By just 2 degrees can save a lot of energy.
2 degrees? That small change really matters?
You'd be surprised. If 10% of Korean households lower their heating by just 2 degrees, the effects are like planting about 350,000 trees a year.
That's magical. Then I'll just bundle up instead.
Smart move. Try wearing some thermal underwear or warm socks.
Plus, when you go out, don't turn the heater off completely. Set it to away mode or 외출 mode.
That way, it uses less fuel than turning it off and reheating the whole place later. Turn down the heat, but not your warmth.
This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어방송. Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어방송.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, everybody. It's 8 o'clock. This is Spotlight News. National Assembly passed a special bill on Jeonnam-Gwangju merger. The Democratic Party, or DP-led National Assembly, passed a special legislation that paves the way for administrative merger between Jeonnam Province and Gwangju Metropolitan City. The bill passed with 159 votes in favor, 2 against, and 14 abstentions, with the opposition, People Power Party, or PPP, boycotting the vote in protest. The special legislation grants the Jeonnam-Gwangju Special Integrated City status on par with Seoul, along with financial support and autonomy over education and other matters. President starts Southeast Asia tour in Singapore. President Lee Jae-myung has arrived in Singapore for a two-nation swing that also includes a visit to the Philippines to discuss ways to expand cooperation with the Southeast Asian nations. He will meet with Prime Minister Lawrence Wong in Singapore today, where they are expected to expand trade, investment, and infrastructure, and to broaden the collaboration in promising sectors, according to Chung Hwa-jae yesterday. He will fly to Manila tomorrow for a 2-day state visit and hold a summit with Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on the same day. Government Government on high alert mode over Iran crisis. President Lee Jae-myung ordered for an emergency response system led by the Prime Minister to respond to any problems rising from the crisis in the Middle East in the wake of a U.S.-Israel military operation in Iran. Prime Minister Kim Min-suk convened an emergency meeting of ministers yesterday where he ordered them to allocate all resources and efforts to secure South Korean safety and minimize any potential economic fallouts as Iran has shut down the vital Strait of Hormuz. President Lee said on social media that he had ordered the cabinet and senior aides to establish an emergency response system across all sectors, including the economy, finance, and national security. He urges North Korea to resume dialogue. President Lee Jae-myung, in his March 1st Independence Movement commemoration speech, urged North Korea to return to the negotiating table with the United States and join efforts to shape what he called a new future. During the speech, Lee addressed Pyongyang's new 5-year plan and stressed that hostility and confrontation, which it has shown towards Seoul, serves neither side's interests. In the meantime, Seoul's military intelligence unit said yesterday that North Korea is believed to have shipped some 33,000 containers of military supplies to Russia. Death toll rises in Middle East as Trump says things moving along rapidly. U.S. President Donald Trump says operations in Iran are ahead of schedule and that they will continue until all objectives are achieved, as casualties have been mounting with U.S. and Israeli forces trading strikes with Iran for the second day. The U.S. said 3 American service members have been killed, with 9 dead in Israel after a missile strike by Iran. The UAE says 3 people have been killed in Kuwait, reporting 1 dead. Iran has officially confirmed the death of its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The regime has announced it will select a new interim leader. And this was Spotlight News. This is your special interview. So on February 28th, 2026, to be exact, the United States and Israel carried out coordinated airstrikes on Iran in an operation reportedly known as Epic Fury. That's the name that the U.S. has put on it. The strikes followed President Donald Trump's warning on February 19th that Iran had roughly 10 to 15 days to reach an agreement or face serious consequences. In response, Iran launched retaliatory attacks across the Middle East, including on Dubai, Doha, Bahrain, Kuwait, areas that host U.S. military bases or are aligned with Washington. Iranian state media has since then confirmed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed in those strikes. And the developments mark a drastic escalation that could significantly reshape regional security and global diplomacy. Joining us again is Professor William Muck, professor and chair of the Political Science Department at North Central College, coordinator for the college's Global Studies program, and co-host of the podcast, The Politics Lab. Hi, welcome back, Professor.
Always so good to be with you.
Thank you. Before we get into the latest, could you walk us through the broader backdrop here, and then we'll dive into what happened?
Well, it's important to understand that the United States and Iran have been at each other going all the way back to 1979 with the Iranian Revolution. So since, for the last 47 years, there's been tension, and it's expressed itself in different ways, usually in proxy wars, smaller levels. But this is the first time that the United States has directly engaged in conflict where the goal is regime change. So this is quite a dramatic development. And I think the question why this is happening now, I think a lot of this comes down to Donald Trump, and in particular, particular, his understanding of whether, he wants to move and shift the regime in Iran. So really, really quite dramatic, quite historic developments. Obviously, very, very high risk strategy here. But I think, Donald Trump in particular helps us understand this. I think there's also some reality that both Israel and Saudi Arabia have been nudging Donald Trump to engage in this operation. So there's a lot of context behind the actual operation itself.
Right, and why some people may be wondering with the whole U.S.-Israel joint strikes, why? Why is Israel in on this as well?
Well, I think Israel has a long-standing desire to solve the Iranian problem through military means. And I think that's what we're seeing right now, and why the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, has been pushing Donald Trump to say, this is the time to strike. Iran is as weak as it's been in decades. If you want to topple the regime, this is the moment. So we're seeing Israel has a very strategic interest in removing that regime, and the President of the United States is open to that argument. And then also Saudi Arabia also is along the same sort of lines there. So there's a desire among two major Middle Eastern powers to make a regime change, given how devastated and weak Iran is at this particular moment.
And so how serious is this moment? Because when the news broke, I think people's first reactions were, like, what? Shock? Awe? Like, what is going on? I mean, there was talk leading up to this, but then it did seem very sudden.
It's such a big deal, right? I mean, there had been this military buildup, and we sort of felt this was coming. But when I heard the news, I was surprised as well, just because you didn't think it was going to happen. It's a huge deal. It's a really, really big deal, and for a couple reasons. One, it's clear from the president's language that this is about regime change, or at least that's the way he's talking about it now. That is a really, really difficult thing to do. And in particular, the president is sending signals that he does not want to put boots on the ground. There will not be U.S. soldiers on the ground in Iran. So that means they're going to try to carry this out entirely through an air campaign. And one thing we know is that since World War II, there has been no real successive regime change entirely through the air. So this is, again, a high-risk, high-reward strategy. But the reality is it's going to be really, really difficult to do. And there's a lot of power remaining within the regime in Iran. So it's, again, very, very ambitious strategy.
Right. So these coordinated U.S.-Israeli strikes, do you see these as more of a short-term military operation? Or as some of our listeners are asking, is this the beginning of a real war? Could this lead to World War III?
It's a great question. I think the President Trump is thinking about this in terms of a short-term strategy, right? He's looking back at Venezuela and how that happened. I think he's looking to have that same model play out in Iran. The problem is it's not going to be nearly as easy because Iran continues to have, even though they are weakened, they still have a significant military force. There are over 150,000 Republican Guard troops. So they are a real power there. So now, is this likely to drift to World War III? I don't think so, largely because the states around Iraq are less interested in engaging in conflict. Iran is also alienated then. So I think we're likely to see lots of instability and chaos within Iran itself, but I think it's likely to be localized, and that is a good thing. But one thing we should say is we don't know how this is going to play out. So there are a lot of things that could happen, but my guess is this is primarily going to be limited to Iran itself.
Right. In your opinion, though, Professor, do you think that the strike was really about stopping Iran's nuclear program, or do you think there's something bigger? Does the U.S. want more?
I think it's bigger than simply the nuclear issue, because if it was simply about addressing the nuclear concerns that the United States and others in the international community have, Iran was willing to talk about that. And, we had seen in 2015, Iran agreed to an Iran nuclear accord that addressed a lot of those concerns. So if it was simply about nuclear weapons, I think there would have been space for real diplomacy. But the United States took a very hard line on this, and they said zero enrichment. And then they also brought in the issue of ballistic missiles, support for proxy forces throughout the region, and then ultimately the Iranian people. And that's where this question of regime change comes in. So I think for the United States, diplomacy, they were maybe going through the motions, but I think at the end of the day, they were decided that this was going to be a military solution probably weeks ago.
Ah, yes, indeed. And I also want to talk about what the real feel may be in Iran, because with a lack of freedom of speech or, real freedom of the press, we don't know what the Iranian people are thinking. We do see some images, some people mourning the death of the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, but also people who are looking for a regime change. So it's very difficult to say, but what do you think is happening in Iran right now?
I think that's the most important question. And you're right to say we don't know entirely. What we do know is that the regime is at a low point in terms of its support. The people of Iran are frustrated with the government. They haven't performed economically, politically, they've been repressive. So support for the government itself is very, very low. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't some hardliners who are still in line with the government.
Yes.
But for the most part, if you could do some real polling of Iranians, there's a lot of people suggesting that they are absolutely desperate for a new government. They're also terrified about the instability that is likely to come. So I think they are happy to see, if this happens, the old regime to go, but they're really, really worried about what comes next. I mean, if we look at Afghanistan and Iraq and Libya, there's a lot of examples where we know this isn't always smooth sailing. So I think the Iranian people are really worried about what comes next.
Right. And I do want to talk about Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. How significant is his passing, his death?
It's a huge deal, right? I mean, it's a huge deal for a whole bunch of reasons. And in particular, I mean, he was the religious leader. He wasn't just a political leader. He spoke for the entire region, for many ways for the faith. So that is a big deal. And for many in Iran, that will be a cause to fight the United States. But on the flip side, there are many, as you noted, who are celebrating the fact that the regime is starting to transition. And this may create some space for improvement. Now, it's hard to know how this is all going to play out, but I think his record is not a good one. There aren't going to be a lot of people who are upset because his record is really one of oppression, instability, and chaos throughout the region. So it is a huge, huge deal. We're just not entirely sure what direction it's going to go.
Right. And we're into, day 2 of the strikes. And we have seen also Iran's airstrikes on some major cities as well, all with links to the United States, it seems. So what do you make of those strikes?
What we're seeing is the military capability of Iran. And they are weakened, but they still have the ability to punch back. Now, the question is, how long can they keep that up? Because I think for both the United States, Israel, and Iran, it's how long they can sustain this. The United States, this is an incredibly expensive and complicated mission. If Iran continues to have lots of ballistic missiles, if they continue to launch drones, that is going to raise the complicating factors for the United States. So I think we want to be watching how capable are they and how long can they last, right? If they're in a weakened state and a couple days from now, they're basically hunkering down, I think that's a sign. But if 4 or 5 days from now, they're continuing to launch these attacks on American infrastructure and Gulf allies in the region, that's a bigger problem for the United States.
Right. I have another question for you, and I'm going to try to make this my last one. Because in the U.S., from, when I study there, from what I understand, the power of declaring war sits with Congress. However, these are strategic, I guess, strikes. So where is the line between strikes and this special operation known as Epic Fury versus war?
Yes, this is a really, really important question. The U.S. Constitution is very clear on this. The only body that has the ability to declare war is the Congress itself, not the president. But now what we've seen throughout history is that presidents have repeatedly found ways to circumvent this.
Right.
And then it comes to the Congress to push back. And usually what we see is that the Congress is unwilling to stand up, whether we're going back to the Iraq War or Afghanistan or going all the way back to Vietnam. So technically, the president does need to go get authorization and funding from the Congress. But oftentimes what they do is they act and then ask for forgiveness later. So I don't think there's going to be much pushback from the U.S. Congress. You see a handful of members of Congress complaining about this, but I think Republicans in general will get in line. It's, again, so he is outside of what the Constitution says, but there's a long history of that in the United States.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much for breaking it down for us once again. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thanks for coming on air with us.
Thanks for having me.
This was Professor William Muck once again. Breaking down what has been happening on this front. And of course, we had all the background information in our number one with Haley, and then an expert's take on what's been happening and what might happen in the near future. We'll be back with traffic and weather.
Good morning. Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It's time for your traffic report. And for those of our listeners who are surprised, yes, we are live right now working on this substitute holiday. And guess what? The roads, they're clear because it is a substitute holiday. We are marking the March 1st Independence Movement Day. It's a substitute holiday. Currently, it is 8 degrees. There's some light drizzle in certain parts of the city. The real field temperature might feel much colder on account of there being strong winds. There is a strong wind special weather report in effect right now. The daytime high will go up to 11 today. Across the nation, you can expect rain or snow. Heavy snow advisories across Gangwon with strong wind advisories across the southern coast and Jeju. This was your traffic and weather. And this is One Day at a Time by Sam Smith.
Let's turn off our phones tonight and rely on the stars. We've been so lost lately, we forgot who we are. But I got everything I need, baby, in the palms of your touch. In a world of dark distractions, it can all get too much. So let's sit by an English river till the water runs dry. Can we light a cigarette and talk about days gone by? We're neither saints or sinners, so leave your history behind. Let's grab a bottle and take it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time. I know you're feeling way down tonight and you can't find the brakes. Every day is too long for you. You are sworn to your fate. But we got everything we need, baby, in the memories we make. In a world of reinventions, it's never too late. So let's sit by an English river till the water runs dry. Can we light a cigarette and talk about days gone by? We're neither saints or sinners, so leave your history behind. Let's grab a bottle and take it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time. Bottle and take it. Grab a bottle and take it. Grab a bottle and take it one day at a
It's time for 와글와글. Haley's back.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so I want to address a question that 고수님 had. 요즘은 남자들도 화장하던데 남학생도 화장하나요?라고 물어보는데 I can't speak on behalf of all the 남학생들's out there. In high school, I don't see so much of makeup on boys. But in college, 약간 틴트 들어간 sunscreen은 하는 것 같아요.
Right, like tinted moisturizer, tinted sunscreen, maybe some eyebrows. I hear that like getting their, not tattooed, but like whatever that is, men do too.
Right, but some men get the permanent or semi-permanent tattoo 하고
I guess,
그렇다고
They're
하더라고요.
like contour sticks for men. I go to the drugstores and I'm like, oh, this is so fascinating.
Right.
What's the trend?
Actually, my son, he just started using lotion. So 이제 로션 막 시작했어.
Because it's dry.
It's so dry.
Because he's not 18 anymore.
Right. And now that he actually has a job, he lathers on the lotion. And then he puts like some kind of greasy like Vaseline. I'm like, what is that? You're like shining.
At least he's not putting on your most expensive stuff.
No.
Because boys will do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope we answered your question. Let's jump into our first story. The National Tax Service, NTS, got 6.9 billion won worth of Bitcoin stolen. What? They have Bitcoin? What?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it wasn't the tax service that, they did confiscate the Bitcoin.
Okay.
And then got it taken away from them. So bizarre story. So the National Police Agency, they've launched an investigation of this case of billions of won worth of cryptocurrency being stolen from the National Tax Service. So the NTS on February 26th, they sent out a press release saying that it seized 4 USB drives that contained what are called cold wallets with crypto assets from a tax delinquent. So they took it away from him or her.
Okay.
But then when they were sending out this press release, somebody accidentally exposed what's called the mnemonic code, basically a master key.
Wow.
Right.
That's big.
And then after this, $4.8 million worth of crypto or 6.9 billion won was taken out of the wallet. Well, so with this, the police are now looking into the possibility that the mnemonic code may have been used via the high-resolution photos that were the original pictures that were sent to some of the media outlets.
Wow.
And the suspect, if caught, could face scam charges.
Oh, yes. But if this is how the leak happened, it seems that the NTS isn't completely free from responsibility.
Yeah, no. So this isn't the first case of crypto assets being leaked while they were under the authorities' responsibility. So Gwangju Regional Prosecution last month also lost a considerable amount of bitcoins that it was keeping as seized assets. Same with Gangnam Police. So with, these not being physical gold bars or wads of cash, security, internet security, cyber security, very important in this case.
Oh, seems so lax, though.
Right.
In this case.
Seems. I trust you with my taxes. Yes.
Should we? No, just of course we do. All right. Yesterday, obviously, was March 1st itself, the Independence Movement Day. But there has been a rise in social media content that mocked the national heroes who fought for independence.
Right. And we did such a great job. Vasana did such a great job honoring these fighters and heroes.
Yes.
But according to Seongshin Women's University professor Seo Kyung-duk on his social media page, there have been multiple contents on social media that mock independence fighters and even seek to praise pro-Japanese figures. So there's this particular post on an account on TikTok that mocks Kim Gu for his looks and praises Lee Wan-yong, who is one of the, if not the main architect behind the 1905 Ulsa Treaty that basically began the colonialization of Korea by Japan as quote-unquote charismatic. Yeah. So, one TikTok user also has been using AI to create videos of martyr Yu Kwan-sun in blasphemous context, including her expressing her affection for the Japanese flag, which would, not only never happen, but it is so rude. And they only stopped when TikTok deleted these contents.
Right. So, question, can anything be done?
Right. So there are legal limitations, however. So police have received reports of these videos, but they haven't been able to launch an investigation. So when it comes to the legality, the charges that are brought up the most often, they are defamation against the dead. So in Korean, that's 사자 명예훼손죄. But this law only applies if one states false information, explicit lies about the deceased.
Okay.
So these videos are less about information. They're more on mockery. They're never explicitly saying that martyr Yu Guan-sun during her lifetime was pro-Japanese. That would be completely demonstrably false.
Okay.
But it's simply mocking. Slander, 모욕죄, also doesn't apply because that only applies to the living.
Okay.
So realistically, the only entity that can take action is the Korea Media and Communications Commission that is in charge of directly communicating with the platforms to get them to take down the content.
Right, but then you have to think, they only have so many human beings as resources to go through all that, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about another topic. Tickets have been sold or actually sold out for the BTS 광화문 comeback concert later this month. And the police, they're already on high alert.
Because up to 260,000 fans are expected to gather around the 광화문 area come March 21st. So if you're not going to be in that group, avoid that area as much as possible.
Yes.
And the big concern is how early are they going to get there? Because for the very few relatively few that were able to get the tickets, you go whenever.
Yes.
But for the fans who didn't get the tickets, they're going to likely camp out the night before, the morning before, the day before, the week before, who knows?
Right.
So with this, the police are working with Seoul City to figure out the best line of action for what's called excessive squatting or 무단점유.
Oh, okay. So there are laws against this.
Well, that's tricky because, it is a safety concern if there are just tents on sidewalks. So sleeping outside is not technically against the law.
Oh.
Right. Because, homelessness is not against the law. Because, Right. And as long as the fans are not onto the roads where the cars are and stay on the sidewalk, that's not breaking any traffic laws. And they're waiting for an event and not protesting anything. So it's not an unregistered or illegal demonstration. So for the police, though, in terms of safety, the only way they can deter fans from doing this is to basically ask them.
Nicely.
Can you move away? Can you not be here? Can you not do this? You're blocking because Gwanghwamun Plaza, it is a very popular tourist area, but there are a ton of offices around it and commuters.
That's true. And the authorities are doing everything they can to ensure safety, right?
Absolutely. So Gyeongbokgung, the palace itself, will be closed on the 21st. It normally isn't on weekends. And the Korea History Museum, which is adjacent to the plaza, will close its doors that day. Sejong Culture Center, where a lot of the performances are, they're actually rescheduling or canceling these performances. HYBE, for its part, announced that the performance BTS concert will only last 1 hour due to safety concerns. But I do want to add this because this is kind of I don't want to say a negative, but not such a... We are expressing concerns.
Yes.
But the symbolic nature. So Gwanghwamun and Gyeongbokgung is where the Japanese Governor General's office was during the colonial period. But to have this, a site... really close to it, be the site where fans are gathering now to thrive and really enjoy Korean culture in that traditional setting is beautiful on this day, especially.
All right. Thank you for reporting on this. Let's move on to another story. Perhaps less in demand, but more accessible piece of South Korea that foreign visitors are trying to get their hands on.
Let me just put that out.
You have a prop.
I have a prop.
What
and
is that?
It is this.
Oh, the 만원?
It's 만원. And apologies for this being really wrinkled because this is out of my bottom of my purse emergency pocket. Is like 꼬깃꼬깃. Right, here we go. Okay, so if you're on our YouTube, you have my 만원. And we, of course, have the portrait of King Sejong.
Yes,
We're familiar with this. But let's look a little to the center. Yes, so this painting, it's called 1월 5봉도, literally the sun, moon, and the 5 peaks.
Okay.
This is a painting we will always see in period pieces whenever there's a portrait of the king that was always behind the throne during the Joseon dynasty. So the sun here, that's the red part right here, that symbolizes what a lot of scholars say, the king, the moon, the queen. And then we have the 5 peaks, kind of denoting a mythical place, like the yin and the yang, and the the universe, and the king who sits in the middle of that throne as a sacred power.
Okay, so why the sudden demand for this centuries-old art now, all of a sudden?
K-pop demon hunters.
Oh, still?
Everything seems to come
Still?
back. It's like the whatever degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's whatever degrees of K-pop demon hunters.
Okay.
Because the 1월 5봉도, the screen, the painting, makes multiple appearances throughout that cultural phenomenon, including as a backdrop to the Huntrix, them singing of Golden. So those in the banking industry say that the demand for this bill has been rising, especially across Southeast Asia, as a souvenir. Because, depending on the currency rate, not a super expensive souvenir. Right. And while we're on the topic, here are some other heritage items that are on the 10,000 won bill. So we, of course, have the king, the most revered king Sejong from Joseon Dynasty.
Yes.
And then we just talked about the 1월 5봉도 painting behind the king. By the way, this was always so strongly associated with the king that the kings were even buried with the painting behind them.
Okay.
And the painting was always only deemed complete when the king sat in front of it. So
That's
he was
important.
the master, he was the central piece of the art.
Okay.
But then I want you to also pay attention to what's behind the painting. Can we get a zoom in again as well? I'm making our producer work double time. So the Korean writing right here behind that
What does it
manwon,
say?
this is a part of 용비 어천가, the song of dragons flying to the heaven, basically telling the achievements of Joseon kings. What's really significant? First poem written in Hangul. Very appropriate backdrop to King Sejong. And it says, 뿌리 깊은 나무는 바람에 흔들리지 않고 샘이 깊은 물은 가뭄에 마르지 않고 시내를 이루어 바다로 간다. Just to translate the first line, just roughly, a tree that has deep roots does not waver in the wind, which is a very important message for a king.
Yes.
And then on the back, it highlights the scientific achievements of the Joseon era and King Sejong as well, like an astronomical clock, painting of the stars, world's old astronomical painting. So that is kind of a celebration of Korean heritage on, again, this day.
Perfect for today. Thank you so much for going over all the stories. And of course, we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right. I'll be back in just a moment. But we are going to take a song break. So this is What Do I Know by Ed Sheeran.
Ain't got a soapbox I can stand upon, but God gave me a stage, a guitar and a song. My daddy told me, son, don't you get involved in politics, religions, other people's quarrels. I'll paint the picture, let me set the scene. I know when I have children, they will know what it means. And I'll pass on the things my family's given to me. Just love and understanding, positivity. We could change this whole world with a piano, add a bass, some guitar, grab a beat, and away we go. I'm just a boy with a one-man show. No university, no degree, but Lord knows everybody's talking about exponential growth and the stock market crashing in their portfolios. While I'll be sitting here with a song that I wrote, saying love could change the world in a moment. But what do I know? Love can change the world in a moment. But what do I know? Love can change the world in a moment. The revolution's coming, it's a minute away. I saw people marching in the streets today. You know we are made up of love and hate, but both of them are balanced on a razor blade. I'll paint the picture, let me set the scene. I know I'm all for people following their dreams. Just remember life is more than fitting in your jeans. It's love and understanding, positivity. We could change this whole world with a piano, add a bass, some guitar, grab a beat, and away we go. I'm just a boy with a one-man show. No university, no degree, but Lord knows everybody's talking about exponential growth and the stock market crashing in their portfolios. While I'll be sitting here with a song that I wrote, saying love could change the world in a moment. But what do I know? change the world in a moment. I'll paint the picture, let me set the scene. You know the future's in the hands of you and me. So let's all get together, we can all be free, spread love and
It's time for in-depth news. We have Sue in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you had a good weekend.
I did. Thank you.
Yes. So what is our first story for News in Depth?
So it's about President Lee Jae-myung's state visit to Singapore and the Philippines.
Oh, that's right.
So he left yesterday from Seoul Air Base for a 4-day state visit. And before heading to the airport, he attended the 107th anniversary ceremony of the March 1st Independence Movement. And right after that event, he traveled to the airports with First Lady Kim Hye-kyung and boarded the presidential aircraft. And this 4-day trip will take President Lee to Singapore and the Philippines for a series of high-level meetings. And it comes at a time when Southeast Asia is becoming more central to Korea's trade, technology partnerships, and regional diplomacy.
That's right. So what's the main purpose behind this visit?
The core goal is to deepen strategic cooperation with key Southeast Asian partners. In Singapore, President Lee will hold a summit with Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, and the two leaders will discuss collaboration in advanced industries, especially artificial intelligence, cutting-edge technology, and even nuclear energy.
Right.
And these are the sectors that both countries see as future growth engines. And beyond the formal talks, there will also be a friendship luncheon and a separate meeting with Singaporean President Tharman Shanmugaratnam. And a state banquet is also scheduled.
Yes.
And one notable event during the visit is AI Connect Summit, where President Lee is expected to engage directly with professionals and experts in the AI field. On a side note, Singapore has been recognized globally for its AI capabilities.
Right.
According to the International Monetary Fund's 2024 AI Preparedness Index,
Yes.
Singapore ranks first in the world for readiness in artificial intelligence. So rather than just reaffirming friendship, there is a big emphasis on future industries on this visit.
And after Singapore...
Yes, he will travel to Manila for talks with Philippine President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. And the Philippines and Singapore are especially significant right now because they serve as ASEAN chair countries this year and next year.
Right.
So these meetings carry added diplomatic weight. For South Korea, working more closely with ASEAN is not new, but it has become even more important as supply chains shift and regional alliances take on greater strategic value.
Right.
So shortly before departing, President Lee posted a message on social media. He emphasized that Korean people feel a very deep affection for ASEAN. He said Korea and ASEAN have grown together over many years based on trust and friendship. He also expressed a hope to eventually visit all ASEAN member countries and said he looks forward to meeting regional leaders again at the 2029 Korea-ASEAN Special Summit.
Yes.
In his message, he describes South Korea as a partner for growth, innovation, peace, and stability in the region.
I see. And is there anything else happening in the background during this trip?
Yes, we covered this story the whole morning. Even while abroad, President Lee will closely monitor the evolving situation with U.S. and Israeli airstrikes on Iran.
Right.
Officials say he will receive regular briefings throughout the trip. And this underscores how complex global diplomacy has become. Even during a regional visit focused on economic cooperation, broader geopolitical tensions remain part of the picture. And while this trip is centered on strengthening economic and technological partnerships in Southeast Asia, the administration is also keeping an eye on global security developments.
Right, there's a lot going on right now, so we're going to continue to follow the president's visits and the outcomes of those key meetings. All right, moving on to our second story. What's this one about? It's about some sort of major policy shift, right?
Yes, it's about this policy shift is aimed at young people and their future retirement security. Starting next year, every Korean who turns 18 will receive government support for their first national pension premium. In other words, the state will help them take their very first step into the pension system. And this comes after the National Assembly's Health and Welfare Committee passed a revision to the National Pension Act. Lawmakers describe it as a strong move to bring young people who have been outside the system into the institutional safety net.
That's right. So how exactly will this support work?
The support will apply to young people between the ages of 18 and 26. And when the policy is fully implemented in 2027, those born in 2009 who will be turning 18 that year will be the first to benefit. The government plans to pay 1 month's national pension premium on their behalf when they first enroll. Based on current projections, that amount would be around 42,000 won. It's calculated using the minimum standard monthly income for 2026.
Sure.
And now, if a young person voluntarily signs up for the pension system, the government will directly cover 1 month of contributions. If they are already enrolled, they can apply to have an additional month recognized in their contribution record.
Yes.
So it's designed as a real incentive to encourage early participation.
I see. And why is the government introducing such a measure now?
Because the gap is serious. According to research from the National Pension Research Institute, as of the end of 2023, only around 24% of people aged 18 to 24 were enrolled in the national pension system. And that's dramatically lower than the average participation rate of around 80% in major advanced countries.
Right.
The reasons are structural. Many young people are staying in school longer, and military service delays labor market entry, and job insecurity continues to push stable employment further down the road.
I see.
But the longer someone waits to join the pension system, the greater the long-term impact. The national pension works on a cumulative structure. Even 1 extra month of contributions increases the eventual retirement benefit. Research suggests that if someone working 5 years later than average and then experiences 10 years of unemployment, their pension benefits in old age could drop by more than 30%. So early entry really matters.
I see. Well, thank you for letting us know about this story. It'll be really interesting to see whether this helps to restore young people's their confidence in the pension system. All right, let's move on to our next story. So what's this one about?
So this one takes us back more than a century to a powerful and painful chapter in Korea's independence movement. In February 1909, in the bitter cold of Russia's Primorsky region, 12 Korean men gathered at an inn in Kraskino, and among them was An Jung-gun. In a solemn act of commitment, they cut off the top joint of their left ring fingers, 약지, using their own blood. They wrote 대한독립, meaning Korean independence, on the 태극기, national flag, and shouted, "Long live Korean independence," 3 times. And this became known as the Finger-Cutting Alliance, a dramatic pledge of loyalty to the independence cause.
Yes, and so what happened to that infamous severed finger?
That's the mystery. Before his execution in 1910 for assassinating Ito Hirobumi, An reportedly told his brothers to retrieve his clothes and the severed finger that he had left in Vladivostok. And later, one of his brothers is believed to have recovered both the finger and the blood-ridden flag. Yeah, and for many independence activists during the harsh colonial years, the finger became almost mythical. It's a symbol of sacrifice and resolve. And in fact, some postcards were produced by Korean communities in the United States to help raise funds for An's trial. And those postcards even featured images of his severed finger. But after liberation, the trail went cold. An's brother, who had safeguarded it for years while continuing independence activities abroad, he died in Shanghai in 1949 without returning to Korea. And his grave was later lost amid the Chinese Civil War and the Cultural Revolution.
Yes, yes.
And with that, the finger's whereabouts became unknown.
So why does this still matter today?
Every year, especially around March 1st and Liberation Day, there are growing calls to locate An Jung-geun's remains. But scholars say recovery is realistically very difficult. Records have been lost over time, and the physical trace may simply no longer exist. Some historians suggest the missing finger reflects something larger, the fractured and wandering fate of An's entire family.
Yes, yes.
It's estimated that more than 40 members of his family participated in independence activism during the Japanese occupation. They endured intense surveillance, repression, and tragedy. And one of his sons died at just 6 years old, allegedly poisoned by a Japanese agent. And another son later apologized to Ito Hirobumi's adopted son under colonial pressure and lived in seclusion after liberation.
Right, right.
And internal conflicts within the independence movement also took a toll. His youngest brother disappeared in 1939 amid political disputes within the provisional government.
Yes.
And after liberation, ideological divisions between North and South further scattered the family. And today, An's descendants reportedly live quietly across South Korea, North Korea, China, the US, and even South America.
Indeed. And so I think this is a powerful reminder of just how history continues to reshape the present. And with that, we're going to call it a wrap for News in Depth. And thank you so much for reporting on these important stories, Sue.
Thank you.
All right. I have a public service announcement for you before I let you go. The Ministry of the Interior and Safety has issued this public service announcement at 8:20 a.m. on March 2nd, 2026 nationwide. Rain or snow is forecast for most regions today. In particular, there will be heavy snow centered around Gangwon province and strong winds in the southern coast and Jeju Island. So please pay attention to safety. When it's snowing, refrain from going out as much as possible. If you must go out, be cautious of slip and fall accidents and use public transportation whenever possible. When driving, there is a high risk of skidding accidents at tunnel entrances and exits, bridges, shaded areas, and sharp curves. So please pay close attention to traffic safety. Do not approach vulnerable facilities where damage, such as collapse or falling objects, may occur. This message was issued by the Ministry of the Interior and Safety. And with that, we're going to bid you goodbye on this Monday. So I hope that you have a wonderful rest of a substitute holiday and join us again tomorrow. Final song is Hero by Mariah Carey. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
Inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero